I am getting ready to start a bunch of cool flowers using soil blacks. Stardust, mountain mint, snapdragons, and scabiosa. And hopefully here in a few weeks, I am going to be able to take these outside really early under protection, providing some sort of low tunnel. And I can't wait to show you how these guys are gonna do. I am going to use this size, the 3/4 inch soil black. This little blocker makes 20 of them, so I can start 20 plants in this little thingy here. I got this from Bootstrap. I'm actually going to try to add links to everything that I am using here below. And the soil mix that I'm going to use today is 4B's compost mix. Now, this is the first year that I am using this mix because I did a test and it was pretty much the best that showed great results for the seedlings that I tried. I will link that video below as well if you want to watch that. But I have found that it's a little bit chunky, especially for soil blacks. And I got this thing on Amazon as well, this sifter. And it isn't super chunky, but there are definitely some pieces that, like this guy, it's kind of big. So if I try to, you know, place this in a very small soil black, then it will be hard. It will be hard to get in one piece. So it isn't that much that I get out, but this is definitely helpful when it comes to making soil blacks. And I made a huge mess here already. The thing about soil blacks is that the medium that you use has to be really loaded with water. I normally add a little bit of water to the medium that I use for starting seeds, and I do that when I'm starting them in regular containers. But for soil blacks, it's definitely a different level of moisture. You definitely need to load those to the max. If this is your first year or your first season trying soil blacks and they don't quite work out because they fall apart or they don't stay together as you try to make them, this is what I try to show you first. When you grab a little bit of the medium, and if you squeeze it, and it's really hard for you to get water out of it, then you just need a little bit more. Here, let's try again. There we go. I hardly had to give it too much of a squeeze, and the water just comes out. Here is my soil blocker. Nice and flat bottom. Here are the first 20 that I need. I want to make sure that I am leaving space in between the other set of soil blacks that I made so that the water can run through it when I water. That's 40. And I am going to be making 2 rows of 50 here. So how do I do that? Well, I'm going to make my regular 20 set. Nice and perfect flat bottom. I'm actually going to use 20 here, but I just need 10. So what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to scoop the ones that I need. Like this. Then hopefully they don't fall apart on me. The only reason why I'm moving this kind of out of the way is because I want water coming in here on the corners. So there you have it. 50 areas, 50 spots where I can make more soil blocks. Most of the seeds that I am going to be starting today, I ordered them from Johnny's. I really like Johnny's. They have a nice selection of flowers. And let me show you what I'm going to start. I am going to start 2 types of status. Status is going to be new for me. I have 0 experience growing them. And as I mentioned, all of these flowers that I have here starting today, I am going to be taking them out in about 5-6 weeks or so. So that's how much time they're going to be growing indoors. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get them out early and they can bloom early for me. So status is 1. I have 2 varieties, Forever Happy and Johnny's Pastel Mix. So these 2 varieties of status are going to go out early. And I am going to start them today. We'll see how they do. I am also going to be starting Scaviosa. And I tried Scaviosa before. I think maybe 3-4 years ago, and it wasn't that great for me. I can't remember where I got the seeds then, but I'm hoping that these guys do well. I am going to start every seed that I have here. I have a total of 56, and this guy is Merlot Red, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I am also going to be starting Mountain Mint. Now, this one is going to be one definitely new for me, and I am excited about it. Yes, it is a type of mint, but it's not as invasive as your regular mint. I am going to be using this mainly for texture in the bouquets that I'm going to be making. I am going to start 50 of them. I don't know how well they do. I don't know how wild they get, if they get any wild, but I'm going to definitely plant enough. And I am going to start 2 types of snapdragons. I am going to get Early Sunrise Mix from Johnny's and Kane's Light Bronze. I think these 2 are going to go really, really well together, and I'm going to definitely start planting of them. I don't know if I'm going to do a succession planting for snapdragons. I think that these guys are just going to keep me, they're going to give me plenty of blooms throughout the year. And I was going to start 1 more type, but I don't think that I need to. I think 2 types is plenty. I have my tagging system nailed down here. If you're wondering about this type of tape, this is just masking tape in light colors. I get a package of like 10-12 different colors. I'm going to link this below as well. Nothing fancy. I just use a Sharpie. These are going to be indoors most of the time. If you have been gardening for years, you probably do this as well. You look at your garden for the past season and then you wonder, what are some of the things that you can do better to not only have an amazing, productive, gorgeous, healthy garden, but also to make things easier for you. And some of the things that I have been looking at that I did or that I didn't do last year, simple things. And I wanted to share those with you today so that maybe they could help you. Maybe you don't even think about these things and we're doing them over and over. The first thing that I am going to try to do better this year to make my garden successful is I am going to tag more. It's not that I don't tag most of the plants. A lot of the plants that I start here, they do have tags. I'm pretty good about recognizing things that if I forget to tag, they come up. they come up, they germinate, and I'm pretty good at finding what they are because I have the videos to go with it. But once they get outside, I don't really make it a point to tag the plants in my garden. And that's a problem for me because for making YouTube videos, most of the times whenever I make a tour or any sort of content that I make from my garden, I have to make sure that I know which variety of status or which variety of sunflower I have, because more than likely you guys are going to be asking me, what variety is that? Where can I get that? And if I don't have a tag, then, I just forget about it. Tagging more is definitely something that I feel like I need to be better at. And I'm sure I am not the only one that forgets to tag the plants once they're outside anyway. I am planting 1 seed per soil black. According to the package, I got 56, so I have plenty to do this, guys. But I am going to be adding a second seed here when I'm done with every single soil black, because just in case I don't have great germination. And I kind of make that mistake when I started a couple of weeks ago when I started some of my straw flowers. I just place 1 seed in the soil blacks, in the small tiny 3/4 inch soil blacks, and I have about half of percentage of germination in one variety, and I should have just added 2 or 3 seeds per thing, but oh well. Another thing that I am going to try to do better this coming year for sure is cleaning my seed starting supplies when it's actually nice outside before I even bring them indoors. And it's not that I don't clean my pots and trays whenever I'm done planting all of the seedlings out there. It's just that I just give them a little bit of a rinse, and most of the time I'll just decide to, I'll do it later. During that time, right after I harden off and I'm planting everything outside, just kind of like a madness of a time trying to get containers finished, get irrigation lines set up, just trying to keep up with everything that involves during that time when it's nice and warm outside. And cleaning containers is not on my priority list. So, and I say that because here in the last couple of weeks, I have been a slave of my kitchen sink, just trying to clean small sections of pots and trays, making sure they're nice and clean and ready for me whenever I'm in need for them. And yep, definitely something I can definitely do better in cleaning things outside. So I have 1 seed in each of these little soil blacks, so I'm just gonna random add a seed or 2 extra here and there. Now on the package it says that light helps with germination, so I am not even going to try to push this down in the soil. But what I'm going to do is that I am going to add a tiny bit of vermiculite, very fine texture vermiculite that you can find at your local hardware store where they sell house plants. More than likely they'll have a bag of very fine vermiculite, but also you can find them on Amazon. Vermiculite absorbs water, so it will help keep moisture right on top of the seeds. And it's very, very fine, and it won't damage the seeds. It won't completely cover them. There we go. So we have status, 2 types of status here, and hopefully here in a couple of weeks I can give you a nice update on how these guys are going. Oh, the sunshine is coming through already. Okay, next I am going to do my snapdragons, and I have 2 types. And I have my soil blacks, 50 on each section. So I am going to tag them first. It says that I have 50 seeds exactly, so we'll see. Hopefully they added a few extras. It says that light is required for germination for snapdragon, so I'm not even going to try to push the seeds there. And oh my gosh, the seeds are so small. Another one of my garden resolutions, as I'm calling them, is watering less often but deeply. And while I do have a lot of irrigation already installed in my garden, in my raised beds and in my flower beds, I don't completely have everything with irrigation. So a lot of my containers are definitely relying on me to be watered, especially the smaller containers that I add towards the end of the season. And what I found last year was that I found myself with, a few minutes before I have to leave somewhere, I really needed to water my container. And my fix was to just give them a quick few seconds of running water and relying that was going to be plenty. And well, that could be the case for some things. Sometimes just watering for a few seconds or giving them a quick water is not as helpful. And sometimes doing that, just watering very, very lightly, may cause more trouble than actually helping the plants. And I actually enjoy hand watering, so that shouldn't really be a problem for me. I know that there are many gardeners that just don't really find hand watering relaxing. And for me, that's a totally different case. My goodness, these are so tiny. So tiny. I just gotta make sure that I don't lose where I am. Otherwise, one row is going to get 5 seeds in each little soil block, and the next one is going to get none. And again, I'm just going to add a little bit of vermiculite. Okay, the next is going to be Scaviosa and Mountain Mint. And I am very excited to see how Mountain Mint does here for me. If you guys have any experience with Mountain Mint, let me know. And let me know how it does for you, because I'm pretty excited about it. Again, I have my soil blocks here made, my tape with what I am starting today, and I actually also I add the date just so that whenever I'm giving you guys an update, I can tell you, how long they had been here. And if you're wondering about this little thing, I got this from the Gardener's Workshop. Lisa has this for the seeds so that any static that will push the seeds to not separate as you're trying to pick them. It supposedly helps. I think that it really, really helps, especially with seeds that are like super, super tiny. Like, look at Mountain Mint seeds. They are tiny. Very, very tiny. And this is basically what I'm doing. I'm just trying to grab 1 or 2 with a toothpick. You can't even see it, but it's really, really easy this way. And I have plenty of seeds here to work with. I have 200 in the package, so I am going to try to grab a couple. That way, if they all germinate, I can easily just thin them. Although I am not always a big fan of thinning seeds, it's hard. I feel like I need a magnifying glass just so that I can see if the seeds are actually where I need them to be. Another one of my goals for this year, and this one is kind of selfish, but I am going to try to get more pictures of my garden, but with me in it. Being a photographer, it's so easy for me to just grab my camera, go outside and grab pictures of whatever is happening. That's really not a problem, but I don't know why. But 2024, I hardly have any pictures of myself in my garden with my flowers or my vegetables. And that is something that I definitely want to fix for this coming year. Another goal that I have for this year is that I want to order my bulbs for this year early enough. I am normally not one that orders tulip bulbs really early in the year. I mean, most people order their tulip bulbs right after their tulips bloom. And I never do that. I normally wait until the last part of the fall, really late in the year for ordering any of the bulbs. And what happens is that most of the varieties that I like, most of the tulips that I want to grow the following year are already gone because everybody already ordered them. And I think that a lot of flower farmers, especially people that sell flowers, do this because of that reason, because they don't want to risk not having the varieties that they like. So that's something else that I might try to do this year. I don't know how that's gonna work, because normally during that time, April, May, the last thing in my mind is, ordering tulips for next year. Okay, one more and we will be done. The last one is Scaviosa, and I really hope that I get something. Oh my goodness. So these seeds are pretty big. I was not expecting those seeds to be that big. I actually couldn't remember how big they were, but these are pretty big. I don't know how they're going to do in these very, very tiny things, but we're going to give them a try. Actually, these are like very easy to pick as long as the toothpick is wet. Look at that. Super easy. Now I might need to come here with something different and just squeeze these guys in. I think I might do that. I'm just going to place the seed on top, and then with something a little bit bigger than the toothpick, or with the other side of the toothpick, I'm just going to squeeze them down. I only have 50 seeds, so I really do need every single seed that I can there. And if these guys get really big here in a couple of weeks or so, I might need to move these into bigger soil blocks, the 2-inch soil blocks. And I don't have plans to move any of these seeds that I am starting here into the bigger block sizes, but I might just for this one. I don't know quite yet. So I have 2 extra seeds here from Scaviosa. I got 52 seeds. Actually, never mind. I have 1 extra seed. Okay. And I'm just going to go with the opposite side of the toothpick. Just trying to squeeze this just very gently. It says that they need light to germinate, but I definitely don't want them just being on top of the soil blocks because these seeds are big. So I definitely want them to be somewhat halfway in, if that makes sense. And I'm doing this very, very gently because the last thing that I want is to destroy the soil block. And I guess that's one of the considerations that you have to take when it comes to soil blocks. Okay, the last one of my garden resolutions for this year that I am definitely going to try to do better is that I am going to try to make a list of plants or a list of projects that I need plants for before I actually go to the nursery. It's very easy for me just to go walk around the nursery and see what they have, see what new plants they have in stock, and most of the time I end up with plants that I don't have a place for, or that I don't really have any extra space or containers, and it just creates more problems for me later on having to find a place for those because, you know, I have to have that plant because it looks amazing where it is. And that's the plan anyway. That's the hope that that's what I'm going to do before I go to the nursery, but we'll see how that one goes. That's probably going to be the hardest one to do, to be honest. This is the 3rd shelving unit where I set up for my seedlings, but I am going to place these guys over here. And the main reason that I'm going to do that is because I have that heating mat that I purchased recently for my seedlings. Right now I have a few tubers there, dahlia tubers that I'm trying to wake up for cuttings. I don't see any signs of anything happening here yet. And I never really had the need to use a heating mat. My room is really nice and cozy here, but I'm going to give it a try this year and see how the seeds develop, how they germinate. Maybe they will give me a little bit of a faster germination. I'm not really sure how that's going to work just yet because I haven't had it for quite that long. But I will definitely update you on how these guys do. I am hoping to do a quick update here in the next 2 weeks or so on how the rest of my cut flowers are doing. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I hope that you have an amazing week.